Welcome back, guys. This is Mr. David. Last time we were talking about quadratic equations and how to solve them using the quadratic formulas, using the discriminant, the delta. Today we'll be talking about quadratic functions and specifically about the characteristic of a quadratic function, okay? Meaning the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, all those characteristics. So we'll talk about if we have in the maximum, a minimum. Okay. All right. So the first thing we want to go over is a quick reminder of what it looks like. Okay. This is the standard form. The standard form of a quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c. And we got to remember a cannot be 0. Okay. So ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the standard form equation of a quadratic function. Okay. Now, one characteristic that is really important is the vertex. The vertex is the point where the function changes direction. Okay. The point where a function changes direction. That's the vertex point. It's a point. Because it's a point, it has coordinate x and y. Okay. The vertex has an x and a y. And to find the x, we use this formula, x equal to negative b over 2a. Okay? This is how we find the vertex point. Once we find this x coordinate of the vertex, we just take that and plug it into the function here to find the y. Okay? So to find the x coordinate of the vertex, negative b over 2a. Take this point, plug it in, and you will get the y coordinate. Okay? That's how we find our vertex point. Now, the other characteristic point, which is really important to mention, is if the function has a maximum or a minimum. So I'm going to say maximum or minimum. Maximum. Well, a function has a maximum if it goes all the way to the highest point, then it comes down. Okay? It goes from the bottom all the way to the top, and then it comes down. That's when we see a maximum. Okay? So it's had something like a sad face. It's going, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going, going. Then it comes back. So right here, that will be the maximum. The point here is the vertex. Okay? It's going, 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 going. Then it comes to the vertex, it changes direction. So this vertex is the maximum. Okay? Whatever the point is here, that's the maximum point. Okay? So we call this the max. Okay? The next one is the minimum. Minimum. When do we have a minimum? We have a minimum when something is going from the top all the way to the bottom and then goes back up. Okay? From the top all the way to the bottom and then go back up. That's when we have a minimum at the lowest point. Okay? The lowest point, that's the minimum. So the function is going down, 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 boom. It bounces up. Okay? This point is the minimum, the lowest point of the function. Okay? So the vertex will be here. Vertex, x, y. But here is the lowest point, so it's the minimum. So we call it the mean. Minimum, the mean. Okay? So the vertex can be a minimum or it could be a maximum. Okay. Now, if you look at these two drawings, this is a sad face. See? Up, down, upside down, U. Okay? This one is a happy face. So anytime we have a maximum, it's because we have a sad face. Okay? That's the other way to remember. Max is always a sad face. Sad face. The minimum is a happy face. Happy face. Happy face. Okay? It's really important to know those things. Then the next point is the next characteristic point is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, guys, is the line that equally divide the graph, your parabola, okay, your quadratic function, into two parts. Okay. So axis of symmetry. Okay. So we can abbreviate this AOX, axis of symmetry. AOX. Okay. The axis of symmetry is a line. Okay. It's a line. A line that splits the parabola into two equal parts. Okay. So it's a line. Okay. It split the parabola into two equal parts. So if I look at my, I'm going to redraw another one. So let's have my line like this. My parabola like this. Okay, this happy face. Right here where the vertex is, the minimum is, I'm going to draw the line that goes to. This is a line. I'm going to put an arrow on top and at the bottom. This is the axis of symmetry. So this is x, whatever x is. Okay, so x is negative b over 2a. The axis of symmetry is the x coordinate of the vertex. Okay, the x coordinate of the vertex. That's your axis of symmetry. If it's a sad face, same thing. Okay, so the sad face, nothing changes. Okay, my vertex is right here on top, so that's where the line of the axis of symmetry or line of symmetry, okay, goes to. Okay? So this is also the same. X equals negative b over 2a. Okay? That's the line of symmetry or axis of symmetry. So remember, axis of symmetry is a line. Okay? It's a vertical line here. Okay? For this class, it's going to be vertical. Okay? We're going to only focus on the vertical line for this class. Axis of symmetry. The next one. Okay? The next one will be the the x-intercept. Okay? You already know about this from before. Right? X-intercept usually it's where your y is 0. Okay? So x-intercept, right, whatever x is, comma 0. Okay? But since it's a parabola, since it's a quadratic function, it's two of them. So one of them is x1, comma 0. The other one is x2, comma 0. So it's 2 points. It's the 2 points where the graph crosses the x-axis. So it's two of them. Okay? If it crosses. So we have happy face or sad face, it doesn't matter. Right? And I have my x and y axis. So I have my x axis. See? It crosses right here. And it crosses right here. So these are the two x-intercepts. So this is my x1. This is my x2. See? These 2 points. Okay, so x1, comma 0, x2, comma 0. I could just put the comma 0 here so we know. Okay, because it's a point. Those 2 points. Okay, that's another characteristic. Okay. Then the last one is the y-intercept. Wherever the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, so that will be the last one. So we have vertex, the maximum or the minimum. We have the axis of symmetry. We have the x-intercept. Then we have the y-intercept. You all know y-intercept. Okay? It's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So if we look at this first function, guys, okay, this will be our first example. So we want to identify the different characteristics of this quadratic function. Okay? So the vertex, you can see since it's a happy face, the vertex is the lowest point. It's right here, this point right here. So if you look on the graph, this is at -1. See, x is at -1 on the x-axis. This is -1. Okay? And it goes all the way down to -4. So right here, our vertex is -1, -4. So vertex, -1, -4. Okay? That's really easy. Okay? It's this line that's separated right here in half. And this line, if you guys remember, this is the axis of symmetry. So this line is going through -1. So axis of symmetry, AOX, is x equal to -1. See, right here, -1. Okay. Then we see that it intersects, see the function intersects the x-axis right here and right here. So this is x1, this is x2. These two are the root. So here are our roots. Roots, which are basically the x-axis. Now the x-intercept. Okay. The roots are the x-intercept. Okay. So here's the first one, -3. All right, so -1, -2, -3, comma 0. And 1, 0. And 1, 0. Okay. So, saying this is a happy face, do we have a minimum or a maximum? If it's a happy face, we have a minimum. That's the lowest point. So, minimum. What is the minimum? It's the value of the y. Okay, is the y value, sorry, of your vertex. So it goes all, it starts from -4 all the way to the top. Okay, so the lowest point of the vertex, okay, the lowest point of the lowest point of the graph is the y value of your vertex. So -4. So the minimum is -4. Okay, y equal to -4. Okay, the y value of the vertex. Okay. Okay, so if you want to summarize it, the vertex is at -1, -4. Right? -1, -4. The axis of symmetry is at x equal to -1. The root, which is where our graph crosses the x-intercept, the x-axis, sorry, right? Or the roots are our x-intercept, -3, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Okay. Then we have the minimum value on the graph. This is y equal to -4. Okay. Y equal to -4. These are our characteristics. Okay. If you look at the next one. Okay. So by the way, this function, right, is x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay. If you look at this function, a is invisible 1. Invisible 1. Okay. So when we have a happy face, a is positive. A is positive. It's greater than 0. Okay. Let's look at this one. A is 1 again, x squared minus 2x minus 3. A is 1, so it's positive. Anytime A is positive, we have a happy face. Okay? So let's look at it. What is the vertex? Okay, the vertex for this one is right here, is at 1 and -4. So the vertex is here, 1, -4. 1, -4. That's our vertex, right here. Okay? What is our axis of symmetry? The axis of symmetry is the x value of the vertex. So x equal to 1. Okay? Axis of symmetry, x equal to 1. Okay? That's the axis of symmetry. Okay? Now, what are the roots? The x-intercept. Here we have -1, 0. I'm going to just write right here. -1, 0. That's this root. Here's the other root. 1, 2, 3. So 3, 0. So 3, 0. That's the second one. So these are our roots. Our axis of symmetry, x equal to 1. The y value of the vertex, y equal to -4, that's the lowest point. That's the minimum. So the minimum is y equal to -4. That's okay. The y value of the vertex in this case, since it's a happy face, it has a minimum. Okay. If we look at this function, guys, look. This function f of x is -2x squared plus 6x plus 8. See, -2. A is -2. A is less than 0. Anytime A is negative, we have a sad face. Okay? We have a sad face. Let's look at the vertex. The vertex is all the way on top here. V, 1.5, 12.5. See, 1.5, 12.5. Okay? The axis of symmetry is the x value of the vertex. So this is x equal to 1.5. Axis of symmetry. X equal to 1.5. Okay? Now, since it's a sad face, it has a maximum. The maximum here is y equal to 12.5. See, it's the y value of the vertex. Maximum, so y equal to 12.5. That's the maximum. Okay? Now let's look at the root. The roots are here, -1, 0 and +4, 0. So those are the two roots, right? The two x-intercept, the roots. Okay? Let's look at the last function here. This one is g of x equal to -x squared plus 2x. This function right here. So we're looking at this graph. If you look at this graph, you'll notice that the vertex is at 1, -1. See, 1, -1. What is the x value of our vertex? X is 1. That will be your axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry, x equal to 1. So this line right here. Okay. What is the y value of our vertex? The y value of the vertex is -1. That y value is the maximum point on the graph. The highest the graph gets on the y direction. So in the y direction, y is equal to -1 is the highest one. That's the maximum. Max is y equal to -1. One more thing. What are the roots? What are the x-intercept? When we look at this graph, it goes. It came to y equal to -1. It never gets to 0. Okay? It never crosses the x-axis. So this one has no root. Okay? And if you remember from the last section, last week, when it does not cross the x-axis, we say there's no real root. So that's why right here, say no real root. Because it goes. It never reached the x-axis. It turned right here, back down. Okay? So we know now everything about the characteristic of a quadratic function. Okay? Remember, a quadratic function can be a happy face if A is positive. Right? If A is +1, A is positive here, happy face. Or a sad face if A is negative. See? Sad face, -2. Sad face, -1. Okay? And wherever it crosses the x-axis, those are the roots. Roots. Oh, no root here. The vertex, it could be the highest point or the lowest point. Remember, it's the point where the curve changes direction. It's going down, and it changes direction right here. That's the vertex. See? Then it go back up. It's going down, and come here, change direction. That's the vertex. It's going up, then it came here, change direction. That's the vertex. Okay? So the vertex is the point where the graph changes direction. It could be a maximum or it could be a minimum. Here is the maximum, here is the minimum. Minimum, maximum. Okay? Axis of symmetry, the line that crosses the graph in two. Axis of symmetry. axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. Okay, guys? All right. If you find it a little too fast, just rewind the video as you always do. Go over it again, and I guarantee you this is so easy. Okay? It's easier than it looks. Okay? You saw happy face, you saw sad face. Okay, so go ahead, slowly rewind, check it again over and over and over. All right, I'll see you next week again for the next lesson.